I am so grateful to be here today. And that sounded so great, but things weren't always that way. 3 months before my wedding, I got a call in the middle of a hot summer day. Yeah? Hello? What? A church service? It's Tuesday. We never have church or meeting in the middle of the week. Yeah, 7? Okay, fine. I'll be there. Several hours later, I found myself pulling into the church parking lot, feeling good in my fiance's black 740 BMW. Just the night before, we had been renovating our new townhouse and had sat outside for a few minutes. I had felt so safe that night. This is the first time I'd ever been this vulnerable with someone and felt so safe. It was like a dream come true. I was engaged to a pastor. I had grown up in this church my entire life, and that was all of my friends and my dream come true. As I pulled into the church parking lot, there were so many cars there, you would have thought it was a Sunday morning church service. Why is everybody showing up for this meeting? As I made my way to the 6th row from the front and sat down, my body just froze. All of a sudden, we were hearing all of these horrible things that our senior minister had done. So horrible that sitting there that night, I couldn't even believe it was true. Suddenly, here comes my fiance. In the middle of the meeting, there are 300 of us sitting there. He gets up in the middle of the meeting, comes to my row, and asks for his car keys. I just froze. I couldn't do anything. I felt like I had been betrayed. As I handed him the keys, he asked me, "Are you coming with me?" And I couldn't do anything. I just sat frozen. Before I knew it, he was walking out the back door, and I was still in my seat. You see, my family and I, we had given our entire life to this church and to this man, which is why I'm here today, to share a piece of my soul with you, to share some of the most vulnerable moments in my life, in the hopes that it will help unlock any door that's keeping you stuck. The first thing I want you to remember today is you are enough. Write that down. I am enough. Growing up, my dad, he rarely said, "I love you." Dad was German. If you know something about Germans, not all, but they tend to be very reserved, very stoic. They have a few friends they keep close. And what I learned growing up over time was, you reserved "I love you" only for your spouse. Dad never heard his parents say, "I love you." So, growing up, I didn't feel like I was enough. Until I was in high school, and there was this really cute guy. His name was Joe. God, was he hot. I mean, all the girls loved him. We did anything for this guy's attention. And then there came a time when, I had like this raging mad crush on him, and I found out he kind of liked me too. You see, I stood up taller when he laughed at me, with me. When he would seek me out in class and sit next to me, I just felt like I had all these butterflies just bursting up inside of me. It felt so good to be noticed. It felt so good for someone to give me attention. When he smiled at me, I couldn't stop smiling. My heart would skip a beat. Because getting a guy's attention made me feel better, because I didn't believe that I was enough. Wouldn't you say you all feel just a little bit better when someone gives you attention? Haven't you ever had someone pay attention to you and just kind of feels good? You have a voice. Your voice matters. Growing up, I was told children should be seen and not heard. How many of you heard that growing up? Yeah, children should be seen and not heard. That was like ingrained in us. I remember sitting in a first grade class one day, and I was so upset. A kid must have done something, and I just lost it. I was crying. I got tears pouring down my face. My chest is just like heaving up and down. And the teacher, she comes up to me and she looks at me and she says, "Karin, meet me in the hallway." And I don't know if you ever felt that feeling of being called out in your class. And I felt like all the kids' eyes were on my back. Stepping out into that hallway, I was so embarrassed. I still remember that red carpet. I just wanted to sink in and disappear that day. And you know what she said? Get your tears together. Pull yourself together. We're going to go back in that classroom, and you need to get it together right now. That day, I knew that my emotions were not safe. And I had to do something different. Which is why when kids are sent to the principal's office, usually they come and snot and they can't even control themselves and they can't even breathe and they're crying their eyes out. And I let them sit. You know why? And I wait. Because I was that kid. And I wait to let their voice be heard. Your voice matters. You have a voice. I invite you today to let go of should. Let go of should. Really love to read. I used to have more time than I do now. And I remember summers as a kid laying on my blue couch, it's like it was yesterday, reading literally the entire Nancy Drew series. My mom would take us to the library, we'd check out a couple books. I'd be sitting there for hours reading. I love a good mystery. And a few years ago, I was reading a book, and the author said in there that she was in a toxic relationship at the time. And one night, she was sitting in her house, and she heard a little voice inside her. And it said, "You gotta save me from this. Help. Do something." And I remember reading that and hearing it and thinking, why do I feel like I hear that same voice saying that inside me? You see, my parents raised us to act proper. So we didn't get in trouble. Well, I always got in trouble. That's why I resonate with my bad kids at school, because I was that kid. But okay, this is what we're supposed to do. This is what we're supposed to say. This is how we're supposed to act. And in church, the same thing. Wear this. Don't wear that. Make sure your skirt's long enough. It definitely, I remember being told, don't flirt with your eyes. I mean, we were like straight-jacketed, like told what to do, say, what color nail polish you wear, like everything. I know Yahida can relate. I had it all perfect for other people. It wasn't until a lady I met, a school principal, she was the head of the school, of a private school for girls. And you know what she wore all the time? Pink, shiny, loud pink shoes. You know the shoes that nurses wear? They're like those comfy clogs. Yeah. That was them. Like they were like shiny, bright, loud, pink. I mean, she would be there in her black suit, you know, like her dress suit, like Miss Professional, head of the school, like she's got it all together, and pink, loud shoes. And you know what she said to me one day? She said, Karin, you know why I wear those pink shoes? Because I had a friend in college, and she was the life of the party. Everybody loved her. She was so much fun. And then she met a guy, and everything changed. And she changed, and we didn't even know who she was anymore, because she did what he wanted. She wore what he wanted. She acted the way he wanted, and she lost who she was. And she spiraled down, Karin, and she never got out of that. And that day I committed to myself, I'm gonna wear my pink shoes. And she looked at me and said, Karin, don't you ever let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't do, what you can and can't do, what you should or shouldn't wear. And you know what? It hit me to my core, because I had just been out shopping with my husband. And I'm looking at these beautiful clothes one day with him, and I see this beautiful pink blouse. And I just loved it. And he glanced at it and brushed right by. Oh, you don't want to wear that. That's too girly. And something died in me that day. And then I noticed, standing in my closet after that, all my clothes seemed to be black, white, and gray. And that day, I chose to let go of should. Let go of should. We all have those pink shoes in our life, don't we? What's holding you back from living the life you want right now? What's holding you back from being the person that you desire to be? I looked really good on the outside. I have the car, I have the house, I have a handsome husband, I have my doctorate, I am principal of a top 20 elementary school in the entire country, a national blue ribbon school. I had it all, and yet I found myself on the floor of my office crying my eyes out, struggling with self-confidence, self-esteem, and my self-worth. And then I met someone, and she started giving me tools to help me through what I had always hit up against and couldn't shake, looking like I had it all. And I said, where did you learn what you know? Because I want that. And that is the gift I have for you today. It's a 1-hour workshop called Unveil to Thrive. It's $197. It's October 17th. And the QR code is on the screen. It's in your handout. It's in the email from your registration today. Whoever registers in the next 24 hours, as a bonus, will be able to jump on a free virtual call, a live Q&A call with me in the next month. One of my fellow school principals called me last week, and she said, Karin, I was talking to a couple principals the other day, and the superintendent told us we got to get together and work out an issue we have in our inner city schools. And she's like, Karin, I texted them and they didn't even respond. I don't even know what to do. I feel like they don't even care about me. She's new to our district. And she's like, it's just like anything I try, it just shows me I'm not wanted and I don't have a place in this district. And I was able to very quickly, in a few minutes, take her through a tool that I learned. And she's like, well, I'm on my way driving to Virginia Beach. I can't talk now. And I said, how early can you talk tomorrow morning? We jumped on a call the next morning at 6 o'clock. And she said, Karin, I don't know what you said to me yesterday, but whatever you said to me, all of a sudden, I remembered as a kid in my Hispanic community, and I wasn't allowed in my friends' houses to play. And whatever you said yesterday made me feel like that again. And I said, you want to go back to that little girl and help her to free you to be who you are and not even being swayed by what those principles did to you, because you are healed and confident in who you are. And she enrolled in my program. That's the power of this work. It is fast and it lasts. So that day, when my fiance walked out those church doors, never to return, married my best friend from my youth from that church a year later, I lost everything. And I felt like I couldn't walk again. I felt like someone had crippled me and I was crawling to just live another day and believe that I could actually meet somebody again, that I could actually have a dream life again. And you know what someone told me? They said, Karin, be like a cork in the ocean. And no matter how far down you go, you will rise again. And man, did I feel like I'd gotten the wind knocked out of me, and there was such a storm over my life that beat me down and kept beating me down for months. And I held on to that and believed that I would be a cork in that ocean and I would rise again. So whatever waves are crashing down on you today, you can have and experience the freedom that you want. Be like a cork in the ocean. No matter how far down you go, you will rise again. Thank you.